we have another game going on for Sunday, another in the NFC. Seattle against Arizona. Both teams will be in the playoffs and probably meeting each other or a shot of it, but there's also some playoff seeding at stake. 60% of the early money has been on Arizona Cardinals, 4.5-point favorite, 47.5 the total. Arizona has an outside shot at the number 1 seed, so they're going to show up for this one. And they just met in Week 10. Arizona went to Seattle, won a high-scoring game between two great defenses, 39-32. And Arizona may have a chip on their shoulder because Seattle swept the season series a year ago, and it wasn't even close, 19-3 and 35-6. In fact, the game that was 35-6 was on this field. That was the last time they met. Seattle destroyed them. Seattle rolled up 596 total yards. That was a franchise best in yards, so you wonder if Arizona might use that as motivation. Seattle, though, good team here, 9-6 on a nice run with a winning road record, 5-1 straight up in ATS. So they do come off the stumble against the physical Rams defense at home. There's also a shot Marshawn Lynch might come back. And you got the number 1 rated quarterback here in the NFL. Harvard is Russell Wilson. So who do you see in this terrific NFC West matchup?
Well, with Arizona, I look for a couple things. First of all, they're 6-1 at home. Secondly, they got the number 1 offense with, they're number 1 in yards, number 1 in points, number 3 in passing. And then I look at their defense. They're as good, if not better, than Seattle. Against the spread, 26-13. I mean, we're looking at a team that is just absolutely gelling perfectly. Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald, this John Brown's coming out of the woodwork, and David Johnson, that he was a rookie from northern Iowa. And I said a long time ago, this kid could flat out become incredible. Now, I mentioned that there's a go-to guy for Minnesota. His name was Adrian Peterson. You know who the go-to guy is for Seattle's running game? Anybody?
Marshawn Lynch?
Bueller.
Maybe Wilson?
Fred Jackson. Everybody else is hurt, but he put up a stellar 11 yards rushing last week against St. Louis. Now, here it's going to get a little tricky. The NFL moved both games, this one and the Carolina game, to a 4:25 Eastern Time start. That way one team wouldn't have advantage on the other to see who, because if Carolina had already blown out by playing early, then Arizona would be sitting everybody, so that wouldn't be fair. So they both start at the same time. Here's what I think you should do. The Carolina Panthers, they're going to be playing Tampa Bay. So let's assume, because it's at home, that they're starting to blow out and get way ahead of Tampa Bay in the first half. Then I think you're going to see Arizona pull out their entire squad for the second half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Arizona Cardinals to win the first half. I'm going to bet them the first half. I'll probably have to lay 2.5, maybe even 3. I don't mind doing that because they're a much superior team than Seattle. I think they want to come out of the gun. And then if they do get that covered and Carolina is on their way to a big win, I don't have to worry about the entire game when Arizona starts benching their star players. So let me put down Arizona minus 2.5 or so for the first half only.
So you'll be doing scoreboard watching on Sunday.
Well, I think
you're gonna have to.
I think somebody, assistant coach, is going to be scoreboard watching, monitoring the score with what Carolina's going to do.
Yeah, that's a good point for Week 17. Even the players and the coaches are going to be monitoring a lot of these games, which will determine the second half situations and the players that they're going to put in. Arizona, terrific blowout win over Green Bay. They're 13-2 overall. And with Carson Palmer starting, he's 26-4 when he starts. So he certainly has been revitalized with this Arizona club. 34 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. The number 2 quarterback passer rating in the NFL. And of course, the defense top 7 against the run in points allowed and yards, as we saw Sunday whipping Green Bay. So, Zach, this is a great battle of 2 of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, but also 2 of the top defenses. How do you see this, puppy?
Yeah, I was in Arizona yesterday, and the sports radio is very vanilla down there. But one thing they were ranting on, obviously, is the Cardinals' success, and it's at an all-time high. They're talking about this being the best Arizona sports franchise in the history of Arizona, so ahead of the Diamondbacks of 2001, ahead of some of their other good teams, ahead of the Phoenix Suns in the 90s, which is kind of alarming to me, but maybe they had some points with that. And at 13-2, Bruce Arians, right off the bat, came out and said he's not resting anybody. He's going to play this game as a playoff game, because if you rest your starters, you've got two things that can happen. Players may get hurt more because they're not going to play as aggressive. And then secondly, you don't want to go stumbling into the playoffs with that negative mindset, losing to a team in Seattle that you just beat on the road in Seattle a few weeks back on Sunday Night Football. So you got those factors there, which I probably, if this was going to be a regular played game, I probably would have sided with Seattle Seahawks. But if you flip that script, listening to Bruce Arians, you flip that script to a guy like Pete Carroll, what time does this game start? Is it the afternoon game?
Yeah, they both start at 1:25 Vegas time.
Okay, so they're both starting at 1:25 Vegas time. So you've got Pete Carroll, who back to his days at USC and even as Seattle Seahawks last year with the Super Bowl and a couple plays this year, he's been known to do some things that will make you shake your head. They're sitting there right now with 9 wins. You've got the Redskins, who could be a possible matchup for them, or they'll face the winner of Green Bay, Minnesota, which is probably a day game. So if Green Bay and Minnesota is over, they're going to be able to play their hand even more to maybe play that Washington Redskins team.
That's the night game, Green Bay.
The Green Bay game's the night game?
Yes.
They moved that one?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
so
the
they
late
moved
game.
that one. But still, I think Pete Carroll will play this game a little bit differently, not as aggressive. I think he likes the matchups that they could have. Obviously, they played Green Bay. They could have beat them earlier this season. I think they came back in that game in the third quarter and stumbled a little bit in the fourth quarter on the road. But that was a healthier Green Bay team. Then they killed Minnesota on the road, obviously, and then Washington. Everybody's seen their weaknesses. So I think this might be a game where Pete Carroll might take a little bit off the gas and give his team a little bit of rest and confidence going into the playoffs.
Well, the betting early number suggests that too, of 4, 4.5, and there's even an early 5 out there on Arizona, the home team. So that information clearly is getting out. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Seattle go scoreboard watching and then trying to figure out their best matchup, which would be kind of the equivalent of a bye, resting guys looking ahead to the playoffs. Arizona is probably going to come all out with this game, after especially what happened last year, getting whipped by Seattle twice. The way I'm going to look at this game is a high-scoring shootout. You got 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, actually 1 and 2 as far as rating. You got the game indoors. You got a Seattle offense that's 8th in the NFL in points scored, 26 per game, and Arizona, number 1 in offense, number 3 in passing, number 1 in points. And the last 11 meetings between these teams in this building, 10-1 over the total. So I'm going to go for a high-scoring shootout. All right, let's tell you how what we have going on for the weekend. Harvard, your 10-star plays, your highest-rated plays, now 23-11 after your Monday Night Football Game of the Year cashed on Monday. Congratulations.
Well, semi-congratulations. I did lose a 10-star on Sunday. All 3 of us are very transparent, as all the other handicappers at gemfights.com. I lost with Tampa Bay as a 10-star play on Sunday, but I did rally back like a good champion should and hit the Green Bay. In fact, that game from the opening kickoff to the final, we were never behind with the point spreads. We had plus 3.5 or plus 4 the entire game, and they were covering the entire 100% of the game, including overtime. My 10-star plays, sadly to admit, at 23-11, they finally dropped below 70%. They're 68% for the season, and I do have 1 more left. It's my bowl game of the year, and then it's done. I hope to hit that so I can get right around 70%. What I'm going to be doing this weekend, there's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, there's 12 bowl games. I'm going to put up a bowl game package, and you'll get all 12 of those Thursday, Friday, Saturday, including my 10-star bowl game of the year. So they should be up by the time you see this telecast, and we'll have them all there. But you'll get every single game, 1 click, including the designated 10-star bowl game of the year.
All right, and Zach, some of your numbers for the season. The entire NFL season, 41, 22, and 1. College football, 46, 28, and 1. Plus, you have a winning run in college basketball as well.
Yeah, college basketball, I kind of, with that break they had, steered clear of that for a little bit. The NBA, I'm also plus 1,700 in the NBA, so I'm looking to hopefully have a 2020 season and handicapping here with NFL just a little bit behind the 20, plus 200 or plus 2,000. College football's right there. I think I'm plus 1,600 right there right now. So it's been a great season all around. In the bowl games, as Hollis said, they're off to a great start. A lot of them coming up here in the next few days, and the playoffs, which would be the best four teams that I've seen since they started it. So I'm real excited for that. NFL Week 17, we'll look to cap that off with a winning record before we go into the playoffs, and then the hoops. You got to get on board with NBA and college basketball, which I actually think I'm seeing that better than football from a whole game perspective, because you get more games, obviously. So if you're looking for day-to-day value instead of just weekend value on the 3 to 4 games in football, check out jimfeist.com for hoops on daily plays.
All right, I'll go with the best bet for the weekend on the Arizona-Seattle game over the total. If you want to get free plays texted to you from Jim Feist every day, just go to GAME, G-A-M-E, 25827. Here's what Jim Feist had on Sunday. 2 high roller top plays. They were the Jets and the Falcons, a couple of underdogs that won the game straight up. This week, here's what he has going. Bowl Shocker of the Year, Thursday at jimfeist.com. He's got a Bowl Dog of the Month Friday. He's got an NFC North Game of the Month Sunday, plus his NFL Total of the Year going on Sunday. A year ago in December, he had his Total of the Year. That was the Titans-Colts under the total, and it won in a 27-10 victory. If you want to get another total, his top total of the entire season, you can go to jimfeist.com. All right, anybody have any best bets for the weekend? You're all set.
I do have a best bet. If you listen to the show before week 1, I mentioned getting Julio Jones 7-1 for the future for receiving yards. He's got a 75-yard lead right now on Antonio Brown. Those two have been neck and neck all season. And I'm not one to just sit and watch when you've got money to win, so I would put a 15% ROI. You can find a prop on Antonio Brown over, whatever it is. Make sure you do that as insurance.
Now, would you like to sell your ticket on that if you're nervous about it from August?
No, I'm not nervous about the ticket, because either way I'm gonna win some money. But take Antonio Brown on the over this weekend.
All righty. Well, we will be back next week with the NFL playoff version of Proline. Good luck with the games from Las Vegas, everyone, and we'll see you then.